you?
Oh, Michael's a terrific player. I'm not taking anything away from Michael, but Scottie's a rebounder, as a passer, as a defender, and as, the whole complete package.
He was a 6-time NBA champion, a 7-time All-Star, and one of the greatest defenders the game has ever seen.
Block shot, double header, Treat to Harvey, underneath. Oh, by Pippen. Oh, standing ovation.
He earned 10 All-Defensive Team selections, made the All-NBA First Team 3 times, and was a 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Scottie turns it in right in the lane.
His career spanned 17 seasons, and in that time, Scottie Pippen redefined what it meant to be a complete player. A versatile force who could score, pass, defend, and lead. Yet, for all his accolades, his dedication, and his impact on the game, Pippen's name is often overshadowed. How could one of basketball's most accomplished players, a Hall of Famer and a legend in his own right, remain undervalued? Why was Scottie Pippen, a player who did everything on the court, always seen in someone else's shadow? This is the story of Scottie Pippen, undervalued.
Wearing number 7, starting forward at 6'11" from Croatia, Tony Kukoc. Wearing number 33, starting forward at 6'7" from Central Arkansas, Scottie Pippen.
The Bulls are just 4-4 on the road in the playoffs.
In Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals, Scottie Pippen would play with a back injury.
Post Scottie on him, they go to it right away.
Facing a raucous Utah crowd and a revitalized Jazz team, Scottie Pippen and the Bulls would be dealt another ominous setback in the early moments of Game 6.
The start of that game, I got a dunk early in the game and got banged a little bit by Malone.
Stockton comes over on the double team. Now back to Scottie, and they couldn't recover. Hornacek was left alone with him.
And that really put me back on my heels.
Bob, I think Scottie Pippen pulled his back out on that dunk shot on his first play when he reached up for the rim and he pulled it down. I think he stretched up and he grimaced as he came down and he could barely run.
Scottie, being one of the leading figures on the 90s Chicago Bulls, would be a huge loss for the team in a finals game.
It looks like Scottie Pippen is laboring as he moves up and down the court. Ahmad told you he's suffering from a bad back. Malone gets his first.
But he kept fighting through the pain, and even contributed by scoring.
Pippen with the hook.
But when only 5 minutes remained of the first quarter, a clearly hurt Scottie Pippen would go to the locker room. Could this be the end of Scottie Pippen's Chicago Bulls career?
The Bulls lead by 9, but here's the bad news for them. Moments ago, Scottie Pippen, accompanied by trainer Chip Schaefer, leaves the bench and heads for the locker room.
Look at Scottie Pippen. I mean, this guy was a genius.
Now I'm sitting next to Pip. I'm watching my man, and now I'm sitting next to him. This is one of my childhood idols, so this is awesome.
Pippen has Armstrong.
Ball pressure, playing passing lanes, blocking shots, taking charges, and he played with a passion on the defensive end of the floor, like he's going after
guys like this. Fight a guy like Barkley with a strength. Watch this play. That tells you what Pippen's all about.
Comes to BJ. Scottie Wright. Scottie Wright, Michael left.
Well, not just push Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen pushed me. It was this big brother, little brother scenario.
If I can learn how to cut angles off like Scottie, be aggressive on the defensive end of the floor like Scottie, I think that'll just take my game and the team that drafts me to an entirely different level.
It's tough. To be a wing player and going against Scottie, it was very tough.
Here's McDaniel, should get another one. How about that running? He is the complete package. He can do everything.
Scottie Maurice Pippen was born on September 25, 1965, in Hamburg, Arkansas, a small town in the southeastern part of the state.
Scottie grew up in rural Arkansas, the youngest of 12 children.
He was the youngest of 12 children in a large family. His parents, Ethel and Preston Pippen, played significant roles in his upbringing.
My family probably shaped me more as who I am as a person. The humble, caring and sharing. I think that all comes from being the youngest of 12 kids and having to sort of play your role and know where you really fit in.
His father, Preston, was a hard-working man who worked in a paper mill until he suffered a stroke that left him partially paralyzed and unable to work. This event placed a considerable financial strain on the family.
The obstacles of growing up in a small town and trying to reach a dream that you set out for. It was something that I ran into a lot of roadblocks. I ran into things that could detour me.
Moving into the front court. Here's Armstrong into that back for Pippen. Oh! In his face! Wow! A monster jam right in the face of Patrick Ewing. Oh, man.
I choose to live my dream and go for what I felt like something I could achieve and that I wanted to achieve.
Scottie Pippen attended Hamburg High School in Hamburg, Arkansas. Despite his later success, his high school basketball career was not particularly notable. Pippen was relatively short for a future NBA player, standing at around 6'1" during his high school years. Pippen played as a point guard for his high school team. His skills were solid, but not exceptional enough to attract significant attention from college scouts. After graduating from Hamburg High School, there were little to no interest for a young Scottie.
Not recruited out of high school, he began college as the team manager at tiny Central Arkansas.
Ultimately, Pippen decided to attend the University of Central Arkansas. The primary reason he didn't receive a scholarship was his lack of standout performance and visibility during high school. At the time, he stood at about 6'1" and weighed only around 150 pounds, which was not particularly impressive for college basketball scouts.
Just the story of Scottie Pippen is pretty remarkable. Someone that came to school here to be a manager on our basketball team.
I was a walk-on. My high school coach called up his college coach, who was coaching the University of Central Arkansas at that time, and asked him if he would give me a tryout.
And then grows 7 inches, between his freshman year and his probably junior year, and becomes an All-American basketball player.
Pippen's growth in stature was matched by his development in skills. He honed his ball handling, shooting, and defensive abilities, making him an all-around player.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
Scott Pippen from the University of Central Arkansas. He's 21 years old, and that's right, folks, you probably have never heard of Scottie Pippen, but believe me, the NBA scouts heard about him.
High school, he was 6'1", and he was recruited as a guard, and between his freshman and sophomore year, he grew 6 inches and is now 6'8", amongst a lot of other taller players out there. He's an outstanding talent. He can pass it, he can shoot it, he can handle it.
With the 5th pick of the 1987 draft, the Seattle Supersonics selected Scottie Pippen.
He can play a small forward, a big guard, a point guard, so it's nice to have that flexibility to move a player like him around.
A lot of people didn't know about you. The NBA scouts did in the Aloha Classic. You had a great performance, also won the slam dunk contest as a 6'7" guard. Do you feel that that's going to give you an added advantage because a lot of teams are looking for those bigger guards now in the mold of Magic Johnson?
Yeah, I feel that'll give me a great advantage, I feel, but still a whole lot that I have to learn about the NBA. And going in, I'm looking to go in and play probably the 3 position, but someday I want to be able to work my way into the point guard position.
A childhood dream, finally realized, but as the crowd cheered, another surprise quickly followed. Within minutes of his selection, news broke that Seattle had traded Pippen to the Chicago Bulls.
Seattle trades to Chicago the 5th pick, the rights to the 5th pick in the draft, Scott Pippen.
A team with a young, explosive talent in Michael Jordan.
Pippen, of course, became a Bull at yesterday's NBA college draft. Scottie was in New York, and that's where he met Grant, who was selected 5 rounds later. Both looking forward to playing on the same team as Michael Jordan, and Michael says the feeling is mutual.
I've never seen either one of them play, but I never see Charles Oakley play or heard of him either. So, you never really can base that on that. I'm anxious to get to camp to see what happens.
Pippen's career path changed in an instant. October 7th, 1987. Chicago fans got their first look at Scottie Pippen, a rookie forward from Central Arkansas. He wasn't the biggest name on the team. That was Michael Jordan. But as Pippen stepped onto the court, he made an impression.
One of them being introduced now, Scott Pippen, a little-known college player. Vincent Askew comes on for the Sixers, and Scottie Pippen comes on for the Chicago Bulls.
Quick, agile, and tenacious, Pippen showed flashes of his potential. His defense was tight.
Now Charles spinning and twisting. Has to kick it back outside, and it's stolen. Pippen will run all the way in and jam with
his passing shot and his hustle non-stop.
Sellers, nope. Oh, Pippen. Turnover. Here comes Jordan. The bounce to Pippen, the layup good.
Another quarter to play.
3 for Pippen. Bingo.
That night, Bulls fans witnessed the beginning of a career that would change the team's future and NBA history. In the 1988 playoffs, Pippen played a crucial role in a defining moment for the Bulls.
I really noticed Scottie during the 1988 playoffs against the Cavs.
Stealing passes, grabbing rebounds, making plays.
Scottie Pippen, who has picked up after a slow start in the series, gets the starting nod. Double quickly on Doherty. And Pippen gets it away from him. He's got Sparrow and Oakley.
Looking for his own shot. Something during the course of the year he lost confidence and didn't do that. And in a game like this, he's performing.
He had all of the tools. Was he the best at one of them? Possibly not.
And the young man in the pivot. Steal Pippen. Scottie Pippen's going to be a star in this league.
He will be.
There's no one in the league that could say they had every tool that he has.
A 2-point game. Year by making that trade. It hurt the chemistry, and a steal by Pippen. The Bulls lead for the first time in the game. Listen to him here at the stadium.
Now you got to remember, Michael Jordan is on the bench right now, and this team out here is trying to prove something that, hey, we're not a one-man show. We can play this game too.
This was the first real sighting of Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen has got to be the man of the hour, the rookie who got the starting chance today and has responded with 24 points and great all-around hustle.
And I thought, wow, he's the perfect addition to the Bulls.
The Bulls needed someone besides Michael Jordan to come through today, and they found him. Our Miller Lite player of the game is Scottie Pippen.
The 1988-89 season had just concluded for the Chicago Bulls.
Pippen gets a wire in the air.
After a hard-fought Eastern Conference Finals loss to the Detroit Pistons. Scottie Pippen's rookie season saw him averaging the following, with limited playing time. But already 1 year later, he had almost improved by twice as many in every category.
Scottie first. A rookie on the ballot is unusual.
Can you tell me a little bit about Scottie Pippen?
Scottie was an incredible player. There were only a couple guys that were bigger than me that I was uncomfortable when they guarded. And Scottie was one of those guys.
He was lethal defensively.
Scottie has had an obvious rise in his basketball life, both in physical stature and in his play.
A lot of the world didn't know what kind of athlete he was. From Central Arkansas, a little small town.
Did you ever in your wildest dreams in Central Arkansas a year ago think you would be standing here with your name on an all-star ballot?
I knew he was that talented. If he wanted to score 20, he scored 20. If he wanted to stop you from scoring a bucket, he stopped you from scoring a bucket. His mindset was that.
But no, I'm just glad just to get the opportunity to be able to play in the NBA, and also this opportunity for me to get a chance to get my name on the ballot, you know, to have a chance or opportunity to get into the All-Star game.
I always admired Scottie Pippen and his game and appreciated him. And then I thought about something. He's the most disrespected all-time great player in any sport that any game has seen.
Interesting. Scottie Pippen, who was the second most important person in providing a dynasty in one of the greatest sporting runs that has ever happened. Like, I think younger generations of basketball fans, I'll use, my son as an example. He's 18 years old. He knows everything there is to know about Michael Jordan, and he knows Scottie Pippen was a really good player who played with him. Because if you're not old enough to have seen it, then maybe you don't realize it, and maybe history hasn't done a good enough job of telling Scottie's story.
Now as a regular starter on a rising Bulls team, Scottie Pippen had taken his game a step up. In 1989, the Chicago Bulls brought in a new head coach, Phil Jackson.
In 1989, Jackson was named head coach of the Chicago Bulls, where he began to develop his own philosophy.
He challenges you, mental. He has his whole Zen thing that he has a belief in.
Phil was just a fascinating person who was willing to kind of try anything to motivate the team, to keep us interested.
Once everybody's connected, then the picture is beautiful and the bond is strong.
He had a different way of thinking about the game.
Coaching basketball and playing basketball was more than just a physical act, it's a spiritual act. In this book that was kind of the pivotal point of my coaching career, written back in '93, I quoted something that was from Rudyard Kipling. It was called The Law of the Jungle.
Kipling wrote, "The strength of the wolf is the pack." Is that we don't stand as individuals in this game. This is a team game. The wolf has to rely on the pack to fulfill what it's going to do. That's really basketball.
Phil Jackson introduced, along with Tex Winter, the triangle offense.
Phil's belief in Texas also was that you weren't going to win championships having one player dominate the ball all the time. It was too easy for a defense like Detroit to load up on you. So the decision was made that we were going to run the triangle.
Tex always believed in ball movement, player movement, and that's how you play the game. You don't believe in any individual having the talent to dribble, penetrate, or beat anyone.
Scottie, emphatic dunk.
It just felt like that you were showboating. That was always his words.
Triangle offense is a series of options. If the defense does one thing, you can move a different way. Or go take what the defense gives you.
In the triangle offense, you can move the basketball. It'll find its way back.
It was more a philosophy that promoted ball movement and player movement, every guy feeling a part of the offense.
I think all in all, Tex made me a lot better player.
The triangle offense changed everything. It emphasized ball movement, spacing, and shared responsibility, giving Pippen more opportunities to handle the ball and make plays.
Tumbo and lays it in very nicely by Scottie Pippen. He's got 18.
It wasn't just about scoring. He became a facilitator, a defensive anchor, and the perfect complement to Michael Jordan.
Right side, Scottie Pippen will take it for three.
The system allowed Pippen to use his versatility.
Under Jackson's guidance, he grew into one of the most well-rounded and valuable players in the league.
I don't think you could point to one part of Scottie's game and say, well, that was his weakness and he couldn't do that. I mean, even when he came in the league and he wasn't a great shooter right away, by the time he retired, he was a Hall of Fame shooter. He knocked shots down. So
here's Pippen for three. What a job by Scottie Pippen.
Scottie did everything on the court.
Coming up, the 40th annual NBA All-Star Game, live from Miami, Florida.
One of the top young forwards in the league, he has emerged as both a talented scorer and rebounder, making his All-Star debut from the Chicago Bulls, Scottie Pippen.
It's the coolest experience I've ever had in my life. I can remember my first All-Star game. I mean, it was the greatest experience I've ever had in my life. But the second half of the season,
yes, you were tired.
I was the worst player in the league. Like, I partied too much, or it just the whole weekend just took too much out of it. But I learned after that.
In 1990, Scottie Pippen earned his first NBA All-Star selection.
Jackson's triangle offense gave Pippen more freedom to create and dominate as a two-way player, and the league took notice.
for an underdog.
Scottie Pippen in the game. Chicago Bull gets open. Brown here in Miami Arena. 51-34. Give and go. Lieber. Down the middle. Pippen in the rebound. Chicago Bulls. In your face, Scottie Pippen. Now the alley-oop, and Pippen seemed to move David Robinson way out of that area.
The 1989-90 season was a breakout year for Scottie Pippen and a step forward for the Chicago Bulls. They finished the regular season with a strong 55-27 record, their best yet. Once again, the Detroit Pistons stood in the way of Scottie Pippen's first NBA Finals.
Well, the Pistons have moved on, but you really got a feel for this man right here.
After years of being pushed around by the Detroit Pistons,
they feel like they can beat us at will. We were tired of this feeling. You know, I still remember the pain. They do the little things to frustrate us.
And the Bulls overreact, and Pippen lost his cool for a moment.
The Bulls finally broke through in 1991.
Introduction of the Detroit Pistons. The Chicago Bulls lining up with John Paxson, Michael Jordan in the backcourt, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen up front, and the head coach of the Chicago Bulls, Phil Jackson.
Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen stood shoulder to shoulder. Together, they swept the Pistons and finally broke through, showing the league they were unstoppable.
Phil's idea was to take advantage of Michael and Pippen, who just fly around like sleek Dobermans.
By and large, everybody became very dedicated to the fact that we had to prove on the court what we hadn't the year before, that we could play under pressure.
to Jordan with a jam. Grant to Armstrong to Jordan to Pippen driving and dunking. It's Scottie Pippen and Jordan gets it, left elbow against the mark. Barron, done. Got it. He's on fire. And the whistles are going the other way. Jordan has the backing up to Pippen. Pippen slams it. Jordan, the clock's at 5. Lambier comes the double. Jordan gets airborne, turns it, drains it. Only Superman could have made that shot. Jordan Pippen on the outside. Get away from Rodman though. Drive and scoop and score.
And finally, Pippen and the Bulls reached their first ever NBA Finals. But they would have to go through the, at the time, current MVP, Magic Johnson, leading a strong Lakers team.
The NBA is a league of stars, and none shine brighter than Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. And while much has been said about their respective teams, nothing has been more anticipated than their individual matchup. It's a dream that's taken 7 years to fulfill, with each player traveling his own celebrated route.
Even though Scottie Pippen was a respected player, everybody had their eyes set on the battle between Magic and Jordan.
This is a dream come true to play Michael in the finals. It's something that I think we've both been looking forward to.
You know, few athletes in the history of sports have had a career of such completeness and symmetry as Magic Johnson.
You know, when you're a competitor, you want to play against the best. I played against Larry, and I've always wanted to play against Michael.
The matchup of the decade, Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson.
The stage was set.
Moments ago, Scottie Pippen and the rest of the Bulls coming out onto the floor. There's Pippen.
I tell you what, it's the ultimate breakthrough, Bob, for him. He's had his scars. He's had his wounds. He's had a tough career thus far to this point. And right now, Scottie Pippen this season and throughout the playoffs is breaking through to the level of the Barkleys, the Birds, and the Worthies. He is becoming a superstar in his own right, and he proves it night in and night out.
And finally, the moment had arrived for Scottie and the Bulls to cement themselves in NBA history.
Today, Game 1 between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Chicago Bulls.
You are looking at Chicago Stadium, and they are basketball crazy here in Chicago as we approach the start of the NBA Championship Series.
And now, the starting lineup for your Chicago Bulls. At 6'7" forward from Central Arkansas, Scottie
Steve, Ahmad for the Chicago Bulls. This is their first ever appearance in the finals of this, their silver anniversary season. For the Los Angeles Lakers, it is their 9th trip to the championship round in the last 12 years. Lonnie Divac, Bill Cartwright, and the opening tip controlled by the LA Lakers as Magic Johnson moves across against Michael Jordan.
From the beginning, the game was intense, with both teams matching each other's scoring.
Back to the reject. By 3.
Both Pippen and Jordan had respectable performances. But Jordan didn't manage to stop the, at the time, career assist record holder, Magic Johnson, who had an amazing eye for passing.
Clock at 5. Perkins from downtown. Johnson at the guards. They try to double up on Teagle. Bullet pass from Beauty. But under pressure, not able to hit. Magic with the spin. The pass off the dribble of Divac. What a play. Magic backing Livingston. Over to help. Freeing up Worthy. Yes. Magic Johnson, after the slow start, has come on strong. He now has 17 points and 10 assists.
With 20 seconds left, the Bulls were up by 2. And Jordan would try to match that at the other end of the court.
All right, here we go. One in time. Michael, if they all run at you, remember Scottie's right here. 9 seconds, a lot of time.
Bulls down by 1. 9 seconds to play.
Jordan is down in the paint, being guarded by Worthy. Pippen must get it, and he does. And here is Jordan.
I just knew Michael's shot was going in. When I seen it, it was on target. It was up high enough. I was like, this is it. It rattled in and rattled out. I was like, oh, comes.
You could see the disappointment in Jordan's face after the ball was rebounded by the Lakers.
But it wasn't over. The Bulls fouled, and that left 2 seconds for Scottie Pippen to create a miracle.
2-point Laker lead. Cartwright will toss it in. Here's Pippen from center court. From center court, he fires it, and he hit the back of the rim. And that is it. The Los Angeles Lakers steal Game 1 from the Chicago Bulls. They have defeated the Bulls 93-91 to spring.
The Bulls lost the first game of the finals, but for Scottie, even more than winning a championship was at stake.
Strongly supported by his family, his one regret is that his father, who died last spring, can't see him play for the NBA title.
I never did get the response of knowing whether or not he knew what I was doing. I knew that he was watching me on TV. You know, it was the only feedback that I could get to know that, let him know that I had made it.
question about it. This is singularly the biggest game in the 25-year NBA history of the Bulls franchise.
Los Angeles Lakers are in the catbird seat after lifting the home court advantage from the Bulls.
We felt like we were unbeatable, but, they proved us wrong.
You get to this point, and they will drown you, flat drown you.
Now we got to go back to the drawing board and come up with something new.
And that they did.
Phil doesn't get a lot of credit for being a great strategic coach. The notion is he's chanting and he's involved in mysticism or Zen or something. But Phil's a basketball man.
Yeah, I'm sure that Phil Jackson knows exactly what has to be done to get his team to play to another level.
Set for game 2 of the best of 7 NBA Final.
Going into the Lakers series, Phil had in his pocket the strategy that, look, I've got Pippen, who really plays point guard for us, point forward, runs the offense, and we'll put him on Magic at some point.
The Chicago Bulls admit that this is the biggest game of their basketball lives, and they control the opening tip.
And Scottie was about to get his chance at shutting down Magic.
And the foul called by Jess Kersey, and that is the second on Jordan.
Michael had picked up 2 fouls early, and so it became necessary.
Here's the switch right now. Take Jordan off, give him a blow, put Pippen on Magic for a while, take a little break at the defensive end for Michael Jordan.
And Scottie didn't back down.
I knew that I could cause him a lot of problems. I watched Magic my whole career and even before my career, so I knew the style of player he was, and I knew what I could do to prohibit him from being as effective on the basketball court as he had been throughout his career.
The change of putting Pippen on Magic Johnson rather than Michael Jordan. A little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, able to bump, be physical with Magic, knock him out a little bit further away from the block, and even in the final shot, it's a struggle for Magic to get a good one off.
One of the things that Scottie did was he, on dead balls, he'd pick him up in the backcourt, he'd make Magic work. And Magic was good, he wasn't going to turn it over a lot, but he made him work to get the ball up the floor. We rarely had someone of Scottie's athleticism and length who could guard him 94 feet.
Magic was like 6'9", playing the point guard position. But here was this kid, Scottie Pippen, I thought for the first time, that was able to match him size for size, speed for speed.
We found a little thing that really disrupted their tempo.
They just dominated from then on.
Wild. And Pippen able to come away with it. Here's T-Box. Threw up a prayer, thought he called the foul. And here come the Bulls on a 3-on-2. Pippen off the hesitation. A spectacular end-to-end move.
After years of struggle, Scottie Pippen and the Bulls had done it. They emerged as champions.
Pippen comes away with it, and the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
After their first championship, the Bulls became unstoppable. The connection between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen was the key to their success.
Chicago's success had always focused on Michael Jordan, but this year, more than ever, he would share the spotlight with another superstar.
People started taking notice that this wasn't a so-called one-man team, that there was another guy by the name of Pippen.
2 guys or 1 guy can't win a championship. Michael never won anything before I got here. When you talk about tandems or duels, there's no way you can't talk about the 2 of us.
Grant the rebound up court to Jordan. Michael a flip to Pippen. Oh, pretty, and a foul. Oh, pretty stuff.
The championship trophy was almost in their grasp, and fittingly, Pippen and Jordan would help them reach out and grab it.
In 1992, Scottie Pippen played in his first Olympics, on a team often referred to as the greatest basketball team in history.
When did you first realize just how special this group was?
I think when they called me up and told me I was part of the team, I realized that I was a part of a group of guys that I had pretty much idolized before I got into the game.
11 Hall of Famers. I don't think you can ever do that again at no point in time.
I didn't feel like that I deserved to be called, but I truly wasn't going to tell them that.
This group may well be the greatest team ever assembled in the history of team sports.
Scottie Pippen. People didn't realize on the USA team, he led the team in assists. Wasn't Magic, wasn't John Stockton, it wasn't the two best point guards in the world. It was Scottie Pippen. You know, he was the most valuable because he's the one that's getting the ball from out of Jordan's hand to a Barkley, from Barkley to a Mullen. He's the one that's making sure all these guys, and he's sacrificing himself, but he's the most valuable.
Things for international competition, even as they play in the tournament. Well, Bob, when you use the skip passes, Michael here is going to... Nice play. You were waiting for Michael to do something spectacular, and he did it with the pass to Scottie Pippen.
We wanted to win and we wanted to dominate, but how we did it, sharing the ball, including everybody. We did it as a true team.
The U.S. has defeated Croatia 117-85, and they have won the gold here in Barcelona.
Man, sent chills down my spine. It was a reward that I had never felt like that I would ever achieve. To do it on that stage with those group of guys. It's a memory I'll never forget.
Fresh off the 1992 Olympics, both Pippen and Jordan were fatigued, and it showed.
Scottie Pippen against Willis. Lost the handle on it. Kevin Willis picks it up. A disappointing opening night here in Chicago.
It's tough. It's just tough to get ourselves the mental frame of starting fresh. You know, we just went through this. We got to go through it again, and I think that hindered the way we started the season.
We started out with a lot of guys not healthy, and a lot of guys, speaking as myself and Michael, not really ready for the season to come so quickly.
Although the season didn't start as planned, Scottie Pippen and the Bulls stayed resilient. They kept pushing forward, trusting the process and believing in their ability to succeed.
All of our players is back healthy, and everything was there. We just needed to bring it to the court and perform.
"20 seconds left. Bulls up by 1. Scottie Pippen steps up in the clutch to secure the win.
Charles Smith, Scottie Pippen, one of the heroes for the Chicago Bulls, doing it on the defensive end.
In the finals, it was Scottie's all-around brilliance that shined. Against MVP, Charles Barkley and the Suns, he nearly averaged a triple-double, dominating on both ends of the court.
Bulls finished the 92-93 season with their 4th straight 50-win season and were poised to become the first NBA team in 27 seasons to win 3 consecutive championships.
It has come to be thought of as one of the most elusive accomplishments in all of sports.
In the finals, the Bulls took the first 2 games against Phoenix.
Tied at 2. Oh, beautiful alley-oop for Scottie Pippen, a look-away thrown by Michael Jordan.
But the Suns refused to roll over and rallied to take 2 of 3 in the Windy City.
He's setting for the 3, and he hits it. Charles Barkley had about a half hour to line that shot up.
Behind the NBA's MVP, Charles Barkley. Up next, Game 6 of the 93 NBA Finals.
Back to Grant. Pippen with the step. Oh, what a move by Scottie Pippen.
They want Michael to get a full head of steam, try to keep him in the middle of the floor.
Well, Pippen got the step. Here's Paxson for 3. Yes, the Bulls take a 1-point lead, and Phoenix calls for time with 3 and 9/10 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Johnson gets, no, he could not get it off. Knocked away by Grant. It's all over. The Chicago Bulls
The Bulls were dominating the league, but in the summer of 1993, something happened that would alter their path.
I'm very solid with my decision of not to play the game of basketball in the NBA.
Without Michael Jordan, their performance has been perhaps the biggest story in the NBA this year. The guy leading the way for the Bulls now is a supporting actor turned leading man, Scottie Pippen.
The day Michael retired, his locker was cleaned out by the Bulls. I thought it was going to become a memorial, but instead, Scottie moved right in.
I think for many years, people said, I'm not an all-star, I'm just riding Michael's coattail. Well, this was an opportunity with Michael's departure for me to really step forward and show some leadership.
But I think he was saying to everyone, it's now my team.
And maybe somewhere along the line, he realized that he doesn't have to be Michael Jordan. He can be Scottie Pippen. And that's certainly good enough for us.
Back to Myers. Pippen had a notion for three. Now he goes in. Over the top of 7-2, Rick Smith.
I would go so far as to say that Scottie in our league is probably the most complete player we have.
I'm not going to be the NBA leading scorer.
He's not that type of player.
I'm more or less out there to make us look good as a team and make us play well.
May 13th, 1994. The Bulls were tied with the Knicks in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Scottie made a decision that would forever haunt him.
I was Bulls All-Star and team leader Scottie Pippen on the bench at the crucial climax of last night's showdown with New York.
1.8 left, no timeouts left for the Bulls.
Phil drew up the play for Tony Kukoc. Pippen didn't like it, and he said something to Phil. Phil said, this is the way the play is going to stand. Pippen says, well, then take me out. Phil says, all right, then, go to the bench.
Myers triggers an inbounds pass. Kukoc for the win. It goes! Oh,
Scottie Pippen was not involved in that play. He asked out of the play. I left him off the floor.
He talked to us all and let us know where he was standing and how he's feeling, and apologized to everyone for just the incident in general. He apologized, and that's basically all that needed to be said.
In Game 6 of the same series, Scottie Pippen delivered one of the most memorable dunks in NBA history.
Well, I guess to most people, it's probably one of the greatest dunks that they've seen me have, or maybe one of the greatest dunks in the history of the game.
Myers for Pippen. Oh, a faithful Scottie Pippen in the face of Patrick Ewing, who did not appreciate it.
I remember that dunk. I think I was so frustrated to play before that I felt like I could touch the roof, and I just sort of felt Patrick falling, and he tried to grab me, and I didn't do anything. I mean, it looks worse than what it is, but I just tried to release his arm so his momentum would just let him fall back so he wouldn't pull me down, and my momentum was still coming towards him, and I ended up sort of just walking all on top of it.
Without Jordan, Pippen lacked someone equal to him to help lead the team during tough moments.
We've lost one of the greatest players in the game, and it's been 2.5 months, and we haven't made any changes or did anything.
Without Jordan, Scottie Pippen averaged 22 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists. That season, Scottie Pippen earned himself the All-Star Game MVP award.
For many years, people said, I'm not an all-star, I'm just riding my coattail.
One of the best in the game at that, and he ties it at 6. Pippen for 3. Scottie Pippen back-to-back trays. Karl Malone, oh, what a fine pass to Elijah Wan. Scottie Pippen showing in this one quarter his do-all talent.
In the season, he also finished third in the NBA MVP rankings. In the next season, the Bulls had a very average season. They had managed a 34-31 record before Jordan came back in the 66th game.
Came in a two-word statement which is now just begging to have a Nike campaign built around it, quote unquote, I'm back.
Ultimately, Pippen, Jordan and the Bulls fell to the Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
It's all over and the Bulls season comes to an end. Here at the United Center, and the Orlando Magic, the #1 team, gets the victory.
But this marked the beginning of something greater. The greatest duo of all time was back together.
If it wasn't for Scottie Pippen, there would be no 6 championships. I'm telling you right now, guys.
I don't think people recognize just how great he was, and that he was historically much, much better than just the second best player on Michael Jordan's teams.
Deflected by Murray. Pippen is driving in, and the basket comes with a foul. Scottie Pippen alert.
Crazy, man. I love Scottie Pippen, bro.
Scottie Pippen for 3, and he's got it.
Yeah, Scottie was like the shit. Like, I mean, obviously MJ was crazy, but like Scottie Pippen and Penny Hardaway was like my two, because I seen myself in them.
Up to Harper. Scottie Pippen, pump fake up and under. Beauty.
Scottie Pippen has had the playoff of his career so far. He's been magnificent.
See, Scottie is such an unselfish player. He's the greatest all-around player in the NBA right now.
Here is the inbound. Knocked away. It's going. Put the head by Pippen. And Cooper will run it out to the slam.
Have won their 5th championship in the last 7 years to 6
Scottie Pippen signed a deal in 1991 for 7 years for $18 million. And if he'd played it right, he could have made 9 times that amount, 10 times.
I felt like I couldn't afford to gamble myself, getting injured and not being able to provide. I needed to make sure that people in my corner were taken care of.
In the 1997-98 season, Pippen earned $2.7 million, making him the 6th highest paid player on the Bulls and ranking 122nd in the NBA, despite being a pivotal contributor to the team's success.
Scottie Pippen of the Bulls will be out for 2 to 3 months. It's an injury that's been bothering him dating back to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I had a ruptured tendon in my ankle, and I decided to have surgery late because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put my summer up trying to rehab for a season. They're not going to be looking forward to having me, so I'm going to enjoy my summer, and I'll use the season to prepare.
Scottie Pippen is laboring as he moves up and down the court. Ahmad told you he's suffering from a bad back. Bulls lead by 9, but here's the bad news for them. Moments ago, Scottie Pippen, accompanied by trainer Chip Schaefer, leaves the bench and heads for the locker room.
I was running back in the locker room, cortisone, whatever kind of medication I could get in me. I definitely was not able to play a game 7.
With Pippen out, Jordan had to try to pull it through, but Karl Malone and John Stockton was not that easy to stop. Luckily, Scottie came back.
Did you start? Really?
All right. Scottie Pippen is back out here on the floor. Whether or not he'll be able to play and play effectively, we'll find out.
Much energy that way.
Is Pippen anything more than a decoy now on offense for Chicago?
He's the initiator of the offense. That's all he can do is be a post feeder and be a presence out there just so that they have to honor him.
Pippen giving it his best, and that time it was good enough.
With 42 seconds left, John Stockton pulled off a three-pointer to secure a Utah lead.
Cross-court Stockton, a 3! It's there!
Because of Pippen's injury, only one man could step up.
Pippen into Jordan. Michael working on Russell. Brings them to within 1.
But still behind by 1, with 30 seconds to play.
Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Number 6. Jordan. Open. Chicago with the lead. Stockton. Harper's on him. Behind the screen. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their 2nd three-peat.
I tell you, Bob, as you look at Scottie Pippen there, I remember all Scottie ever heard about was the migraine headache, and that he couldn't play with pain. Well, today, they could not have won this game without him.
in all the videos, you never just saw me. You saw Scottie Pippen. Every championship I won.
He was the best defensive player in the league by far. He was the one who made us all feel comfortable and confident. He was beloved on that team.
Welcoming Scottie to the Hall of Fame is Michael Jordan from the class of 2009. Ladies and gentlemen, Scottie Pippen.
MJ, you have touched so many people's lives, but none like mine. Thank you for being the best teammate. I will always cherish that, and I will cherish our relationship forever. Thank you.